Welcome to Angela's Kitchen Garden, where I grow my own organic fruit, vegetables and cut flowers. I'm going to take you on a tour of the plot now. So in this first bed here I've got my strawberries. Now these were runners that I took at the end of last year, so they're still getting established, but by next year they should do really well. And at the back here I've got some that I planted in the spring last year, and they're doing really well. And if you have a look underneath, they've got loads of strawberries on them, so these should create a really big harvest for me. And here are my summer fruiting raspberries, and if you have a look, I've already got some raspberries growing and I'm really excited about that, so it shouldn't be too long and I can start picking these. And I love summer raspberries, they're gorgeous. Now here are my blackcurrant bushes, and these have done really well. And if you have a look at this one here, it is just dripping with blackcurrants. They are everywhere, so this is doing really well. I've ordered some netting online to put around my fruit cages, so hopefully that will come this week, and so I can cover them up and stop the blackbirds and other birds getting them. Now here are my autumn fruiting raspberries, and then moving on to the next bed. This bed's got my cabbages in, and these are a variety called Durham Early, and these are doing really well, and I've been picking them and having them for tea, and they're really delicious. Here's a row of turnips that I've sown in there. And then here's a row of kohlrabi, although I only had one come up, so I've had to buy some new seeds and I'm going to sow them again because I really like kohlrabi, so I really hope that I can grow them. Now with my turnips, I've sown some in some seed trays as well, so I can fill in the gaps along here because they didn't all germinate because it was so dry. Now here are my broad beans, and these have done amazingly well this year. They're about 4 foot high. They're a variety called Bunyard's Exhibition, and they are so lush, and touch wood, I haven't had any black fly this year, and so I've been checking all the tops of them just to make sure I haven't got any ants or black fly on them. And I've just found a pea and bean weevil. These things get everywhere. I've been trying to pick them off, but I haven't managed to get rid of them completely. Now with the tops, if you do get black fly, just nip them off because they like the nice fresh growth. Now in this bed here I've got my Swiss chard, and this has done really well, but it's gone to seed. Now when it goes to seed, what you need to do is you need to come along, grab the little seed head and just nip it off. And you then need to sow some new seeds. So I've sown some more Swiss chard at home, and when it gets big enough I'll bring it down to the plot and nip these out. But at the moment they're still producing leaves, so I'm going to leave them in until the other ones are ready to be planted out into the plot. Now at the back of this bed I have got my globe artichokes, and this one has sent up a mini globe artichoke. I'm not really sure why it sent up such a small one, because normally it sends up bigger ones later on in the year. But as the summer goes on, it will send up more flower heads and I'll be able to pick those and they'll be bigger. There's my rhubarb, and that's doing quite well. And then moving on to the next bed, this is my little herb garden. I've got chives, thyme, bush basil, parsley, mint in a little pot to stop it escaping, and this is my dill. Now this has gone to flower, but with the flowers of dill you can save the seeds from them, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to let it flower, go to seed, and then save the seeds and put them in a little jar and use them in my cooking at home. And then in this bed I've also got my lettuces, and these have been doing really well. I've been picking these as well. And then here are my gooseberries, and these are doing well, and the other gooseberry plant has got loads of gooseberries on as well, so I need this netting to hurry up and get here so that the birds don't eat it. Now here I've sown my runner beans and I'm waiting for those to come up. Here are my French beans or green beans, and they're doing really well. Some of them didn't come up, so I've put a little pot in there with some more seeds just so that I can fill in the gaps. And then I've got some nasturtiums at the front for some butterflies and bees. And then right at the end I've got some borlotti beans, and the same, not all of them came up, so I've got another little pot with some seeds in. Now moving on to the next bed. In this bed here I've got my root vegetables, and these are my parsnips. I've thinned them out already, and then where I've got the gaps I've just put in some more seeds just to make sure that I get a full row of them so that I get a nice crop of parsnips at the end of the year. And so I just went along and pinched out all of the excess. Then here are my carrots, and these have done really well. Although they kept getting dug up, they now seem to be actually growing, and I'm just going to go along and fill in the little gaps along there. And then I've also got a row of beetroot along here, And what I'm going to do with these ones, I'm going to dig up this little clump here and then use it to fill in the gaps around it. And so I should get a full row of beetroot, and I love beetroot. It's really, really nice. And then I've also got a row of radishes, and I've been picking these, and these have been really nice in my salads. And so they've done really well this year. And I'm just going to sow another row along here so that I can get a continual crop of these. And I prefer to eat them when they're a bit smaller. In here I had my purple sprouting broccoli, but it went to seed and I collected some of the seeds. And now I'm going to be planting my onions into this bed. So I've got my salad onions and my bush onions, or my bunching onions, sorry. And I'm going to be putting those in here, and then I'm going to be putting some salady bits in as well. And then here are my pots with some of my flower seeds that need potting on and then planting out into my cut flower garden. In this bed here, I'm going to be putting my Brussels sprouts. And then in this bed here, I'm going to be putting my flower sprouts or quail, and they're really lovely. And in here is my new broccoli bed. So this has got a row of green 10-stem broccoli, and this is a summer harvesting variety. Then along here I've got my purple and my white sprouting broccoli, which will be ready in the early January, February next year. Then I've also got some Chinese broccoli in here as a little filler crop that will be ready in the next month or so. And then at the end I've also got a row of rockets, and that's also for another little filler crop until the broccoli gets a little bit more established. And it's a shame to waste all the space in here whilst the broccoli is still so small. I've also got a couple of pots with some other brassicas and some peas and things like that, just so that the birds and mice and things can't, and butterflies can't get at them. And so that's this cage. And then moving on, this is my cut flower garden, and it goes all the way from here all the way down to the end there. And I'm so excited about that this year. It's so big, and I should get loads of cut flowers. Now here is my cosmos, my dahlias. I've got a little patch here. This is just for the bees. And here's a little poppy from one of my plot neighbours, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It's really big, and I just put it in here because it's so pretty. Now at the back I'm growing my sweet peas, and I'm using the cordon method for these, so I should get some really gorgeous blooms from those this year. Now with my dahlias, if you watched my video on stopping or topping dahlias, you'll see here that they've started to bush out now that I've taken the top out of them. So I should get loads of flowers on these, and they're turning into really sturdy little plants. And here I've got my gladioli. I've also got another row of dahlias here. I've got my canna lily, and I've got some more pom-pom dahlias, and then here I've got my cornflowers, and these have really started to do well now they're in the ground. Then I've got some sunflowers, some verbena, a lupin and a peony. And with these, the verbena, lupin and peony, they were just in one of the flower beds last year, so I just put them in here. Now here I have got my giant zinnias, and I'm so excited about these because they're gorgeous. And then here I've got my larkspur, and then I've got lots of other flowers all the way along here that need planting out. And now in this bed here I've got my peas, and I've actually finally managed to get some to get going. And in this seed tray here I've got half of it with the sugar snap peas and half of it with the Hearst green shaft. And when they get a bit bigger I'll just use them to fill in the gaps, and then I'll put in the rest of the sugar snap peas over there. And I've also sown another tray of them, and they're over in the cage over here. And then once I've planted them out from this one, I'll re-sow seeds in there, and I'll just keep doing that until I manage to fill up this whole bed all the way along here. It needs a good weed because it's been so wet and warm that the weeds have really started to get going. So that's what I'll be doing with the rest of this sort of couple of days. I'll get this all cleared. And with this bed here, this is going to be my salad bed for my kale, my sorrel, my fennel, things like that are going to go in here. So I need to give it a good weed, and then I'll plant this all out into here. And if you have a look, here are all my little seed starters that I've got, and then I'll be able to plant these out into this bed here. It will look really nice when they're all out. And then here I'm going to be putting in my sweet corn, so I need to get this all weeded and ready for the sweet corn to go into it. Now I've got a bit of bindweed coming up there where I missed a bit of the root, so I'll use a fork just to dig that out. And I've got a few other weeds that will need to be dug out like that, like this thistle here. I need to use a fork to dig that one out, but for the rest of it I can just use the hoe on it, and that'll be really quick and easy to get the weeds out of that. And then at the end here I did have a little shrew that built a nest, but because I dug it up, I think I upset her and she moved the little babies. And so I came down to check on them because one of the other plot holders said that if you disturb them, they move them. And I think she's probably built another nest along there and taken the babies into it. But what it does mean is it means that I can get on with my digging now. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be digging the rest of this plot along here, and I will definitely get it finished over the next couple of days. And so I'm really excited about that. And then once this is done, I'll level it all out, and then my plot will be ready and I'll be able to get on with some other jobs. So I'll just show you what my plot looks like now. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe. Also, check out my other videos. If you're on social media, you can also follow me on Instagram, Twitter and Pinterest, and the details of that are in the description below. And I'll be uploading another video at the same time tomorrow. So see you on the next one. Bye!